2024. That's still great. What's up, everybody? Happy New Year. Welcome to the Horns Forward podcast. We are back, baby.
2024.
We here.
And we got some news. We got some stuff to talk about. It's not just speculation anymore. We have some actual confirmed hard facts. So for everybody who's like, I only will hear it from the source, go to the UFL.com, the UFL.com.
Yeah.
And you'll find everything that we're going to talk about right there.
Period.
So, but yeah, so I think we need to start off because my boss doesn't care if I drink on a Monday because I am my own boss. So there we go. And I believe we have a special announcement that we need to make from Miss Chairwoman Danny Garcia.
Oh yeah. Let me roll that.
Newer teams, the San Antonio Brahmas, the Brahmas and the Alamo Dome hosted our championship game. We have Wade Phillips, who will be coaching that team. We are so excited to be back in that market.
That's what's up.
We are very excited.
Yep. We're excited to have them
be back in that market.
Yeah.
Exactly. Welcoming, open arms.
Absolutely. What's up, Justin?
The Wade.
So, son of bum, we basically got the Houston Roughnecks of San Antonio have arrived according to the most recent draft or the dispersal draft or whatever, which I think it made sense. He's going to want to keep his own players here that he's familiar with, minus Max Borghi. I wish that bowling ball was with us. But
he's gonna go early.
He's going to do well wherever he is. We wish him well wherever he goes, of course. But there are a lot of notable names from last year's Brahmas, from the original Brahmas, that are returning as of today with the roster. And I would say let's go around the table here. Who are you guys most excited to have back? It could be one or two players.
I'm waiting for the big one that everybody gonna say.
The big one.
Yeah.
Big Mike Brown.
The quarterback.
Yeah, go ahead.
The quarterback.
Which quarterback?
The zone.
Mr. Cone's zone.
Cone's
Jack
zone.
Cone.
No, Jay?
I was saying
I'm excited. I'm excited for Cone to come back and show everybody that the issues at quarterback weren't actually issues at quarterback from last year.
Mm-hmm.
That the fact that we had no offensive line did not give Cone the opportunity to show what he can do. That's not necessarily the guy that I'm excited about, but I'm excited for him to come out and have the opportunity to shut down all the haters. That I'm 100% excited about. So all you people that Cone was hot garbage, he was a dumpster fire, I'm ready for him to show you guys that maybe you weren't actually watching the same thing on the field that was actually happening. Okay?
But mature a lot this word.
If it is true,
Go ahead.
I was like, man, it's silent.
I'm
if
sorry.
It is true,
I'm buffering a little bit. So if it is true, I'm excited to see Ben Kurt come back.
There you go.
Okay. A 1-2 punch at quarterback is going to be phenomenal for this team, especially if we have an offensive line. Cone is an extremely accurate passer, I believe, when he has time, when he's in the pocket and actually has a pocket. Okay. Ben Kurt is still mobile enough that he can still, present a mobile threat. So a 1-2 punch like that, we're going to be very dangerous. And then, of course, Vasher and my boy, right, bringing those two back, having two solid receivers like that, man, we're going to be dangerous. And, of course,
who your boy?
I was waiting on Holly. You just say Holly.
Holly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nick Holly, baby, 13. Yeah. Let's go.
Took you.
Of course, he does have the same number as Ben Kurt, so
yeah, that's true.
I'm super excited about that. I'm also excited about like our tight end pickup. I'm excited for the whole team just to see what we're gonna get. I truly believe with what we had last year and the addition of some of these Houston players this year, we are going to be unstoppable.
All right. Well, before you name the
So go
entire
ahead.
team that you're excited to come back, I'll jump in too.
Are we just listing one or a few?
I'm excited we're getting Beasley back.
1 to 2.
You know,
Or two? Okay.
like just that defense was
Drew Beasley,
so
yeah.
awesome, and I'm just Beasley's was kind of one of my favorite guys on the defense. So I'm glad he's coming back.
I think my
Yep.
two are obviously
Jay Will.
Jordan Williams for sure, and then of course Big Mike. I was
Big
very
Mike.
happy to see his name.
Yes.
I was worried for a hot
Yes.
minute,
Let's
and
go.
then woo, bringing the Oos Juice for next season. So those are my two guys I'm
Yep.
excited to see back.
I mean, I had a list of them, but
Oh,
It's top 2.
mainly
Jay took half of them.
the record on defense, man. Mike Scott. So
Yep.
Yes.
I like that we got him back. I think his brother is in the league
yeah.
or somewhere. Then if I had to go another one, I would probably say, well, we just added him, but Cody Latimer. But I'll go with Nick Holly as well too. I really like Nick Holly.
Yeah.
Make him, man.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I got
Latimer's going to be a beast for us, man.
Wait, I'm gonna copy Jackie's too. Drew Beasley, or you didn't say Drew Beasley, my bad.
No. He said
But
that.
yeah, BD said Drew Beasley, but I'm excited Drew Beasley's back. That dude was a terror in the backfield. He was
Yeah.
fast. He wasn't the biggest, but he was fast, and he was always terrorizing people in the backfield. And then, of course, our boy Mike Brown, Mr. Oos Juice himself, with the
Mhm.
ice cream scoop. You know, those are my two favorite ones, and then like obviously we're gonna have a really good receiving core, much better than this receiver right here who couldn't even catch a damn ball. But you know, we're actually gonna be catching
Wow.
balls this week.
Yeah, that was a low blow.
That can go lower.
Oh wow. Okay.
I ain't even. I cannot even.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think I think we are. You know what? We still most hated. Like everybody's power rankings and everything coming out. I'm just screenshot. I'm keeping the receipts,
Yay.
man.
I
We
think-
are last. I'm talking about
Dead last.
And then you
Dead
had the
last,
Michigan Panthers. Well, I mean, I think they made it to the play. I'm not. If anybody like been watching, like deep in the USFL, like I haven't been really watching, so I don't know who went to the playoffs and all that stuff. But I think Michigan had a bad record and they went to the playoffs. I think there was another
The
situation
Gamblers
as
were the other
the
bad
Renegades.
ones.
So they had a bad record and they went to the playoffs. But anyway, they was bad in the USFL as well, and they got us below them. And I'm like, man, when you think about it, I'm like, okay, we have the coach, probably the best coach in the league right now, with the most experience.
Yep.
You think he ain't gonna get us right? But I mean, you know, we doubting. Not we doubting, but they doubting us. So we'll see.
That's okay. That's what I'm saying. It's revenge season.
Yep.
It is revenge season.
Jay's
I
got the
thought-
finger up.
Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. So talking about coaches, I did a little deep dive a while back looking at the different coaches' records. And Wade Phillips is a little over he's close to about a 600 record, win-loss record. I don't remember exactly how many games, but we're talking well over 400 professional football games. Some of the other coaches have a higher record. They have 15, 20 professional coaching, games under their. So yeah, their numbers are going to look higher, but nobody has more experience than this man. Nobody is
Dude,
better
I'll
prepared
bet you
to
Wade
take us to
has-
the championship than him.
I'll bet you Wade has more like games played than every other coach in the league combined.
I'm sure.
Well, at the pro level,
Close.
yeah,
Close.
Yeah.
but
At the pro level, yeah. I mean, Stoops is at the
Stoops-
college level, but
yeah.
I mean, we're talking about pro experience.
Yeah, pro
Like,
level, pro experience here.
And then we also have the
At
best,
the pro
in my
level.
opinion, the best offensive coordinator, which is AJ Smith. So I'm very excited that he came back. He had a little Undertaker coming out the casket. So if you watch wrestling, Undertaker come out the casket. He's back.
Nice.
So that is that's my guy, man. I was so happy that we had him. But I think we they're going to put something together, man. They're going to have that air raid going. So I expect a lot of points. That's what I expect going into the
You
season.
know,
So.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
being very cautious about Wade Phillips as the coach. As a Cowboys fan, I've been through a Wade Phillips coach team before, so but
Yeah.
I love the offensive coordinator.
Jay Smith.
And Wade has always been an amazing defensive coach. So let him kind of handle the defense.
I'm about to
Let
kick you
AJ
out.
handle the offense. We'll be good to go.
I mean, then you look
Yep.
what he did in 2020 with the Roughnecks. I mean, they was undefeated.
2023.
No, I'm talking about 2020 when they had PJ Walker.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
oh,
you know,
I
like
will.
that stigma stays, and they AJ Smith was there, so that stigma
See,
stays.
I didn't watch the 2020 XFL. So
Oh,
I was
see.
too big. I was still crying about the Commanders.
But then, I mean, even if you talk about last year, they still was good.
Oh yeah,
Good
for
defense,
the first
solid
half
defense. They
of
went
the
to the
season.
playoffs.
Yeah.
So I mean, they went to the playoffs though. You mean even though
No,
they was
they
probably
did.
still good in the first half, but they still went to the playoffs.
And Thomas
Yep.
here brings up a good question. With the season starting March 30th, the players are going to be reporting to training camp here pretty soon. Is that enough time to get everything
Always
sorted
enough
out and everything? And I think one of the things we have to remember is that everybody's on an equal playing field here.
Yeah.
They all have the same amount of time. They all
Yeah.
got to get to Arlington, get their shit together. And, honestly, I think the one that's going to struggle the most is Arlington, simply because of I just don't think they got the pieces to repeat again. They're going to try
They
to.
picked up some pieces, man. They picked up some pieces. They got some pieces.
I just don't see it. I don't see it.
He's
And
just a hater.
that's
A
not
They
hater,
got some
like-
pieces, man.
that's not
You
me.
can't hate.
just
You can't hate if you
That's
don't
not-
know.
That's not me just saying it because I hate them. That's me saying I think they're trying to replicate what they did last year, and they're gonna find out this is a new league, and I think they're gonna come out week 1 and they're gonna get smacked in the mouth by those ponies over in Birmingham. They're gonna get a
Man, look,
banjo
your
smacked over their head.
Your hate may run deep, but I'm looking at the roster, and man, they picked up Vic Beasley from Vegas. They picked up Deontay Burnett from Houston, Devin Darrington from Orlando,
Yeah.
Morgan
Orlando.
Ellison from Seattle, Gene Harris, the cornerback from Houston. Like, they got some pieces. They picked up some pieces, man.
But
Trust me.
can Stoops put the puzzle together?
And they got Lindsey Scott from Incarnate Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll have him as a
So
backup behind.
they're
your
gonna be
boy.
lighting something up, man. I'm telling you. They're gonna be lighting something up. But I mean, like, I know your hate runs so deep. You don't even be caring about the roster. You just Arlington, I'm hating.
I'm really looking forward to it because I mean, really, we've got the best players over 8
I was about to say
teams
that.
now condensed into
I'm about
4.
to say that.
I was
just
so
about to say that.
they're like
Yep.
all these teams are going to be pretty stacked, even on the USFL side. So like this is going to be a really exciting year.
Like one of the players said on Twitter, you got all the teams that didn't make it, all the high talent players or high power players that came from those teams that didn't
Yeah.
make it. They are
There's
on
a
teams
lot
now.
of good players that came
Yeah.
from those teams. So
Oh, go ahead, Jackie.
I was gonna say, like, I'm really interested to see how these USFL teams are gonna do with the crowds and the noise.
That's
I
a
think
good
they'll
point.
just be excited that there's
XFL.
crowds.
That's a
Like,
good
but I
point.
mean, like, I feel like they're gonna struggle. Like,
Well-
they're gonna have to really rely
Hey,
on
we gotta
their
turn up in
signal.
San Antonio.
Oh
It's-
yeah,
It's a good thing that they're playing, their own conference, except for when they go to Houston, assuming that the Roughneck Nation shows up and still supports the Gambling Roughnecks.
I can't believe
You know,
that.
I just that's a big question mark, from what I've been hearing. I'm
I don't
glad they
think that's
kept the
going to be a
name.
problem, man.
Go ahead, Jay.
I honestly think the Houston fans are going to show up pretty much just like they did. I mean, there's a few Roughnecks fans who got their feathers ruffled because they lost basically their whole team and only kept the name, like the identity is gone. But the amount of Gambler fans that were upset about the merger and the amount of Roughnecks fans are going to be minimal when you see the everybody get behind, especially with some of the efforts, that the Houston Roughnecks fans have been doing, to save the team. You guys know about the petition. They got over 1,000 signatures, and they did it in a pretty short amount of time, all things considered. I think Houston's going to show up. They may be a little on the fence at first, but once they see the product that's out on the field, especially if it happens in Rice like we believe it's going to, they'll be on board. They'll be fine.
I still feel though that Houston's going to be divided. Like you're still going to have those ones that show up in their the other Houston gear and not Roughnecks. They're still going to be divided.
I
It's not
mean,
going to take
Did
at least a season.
anybody buy the gambler gear?
But I was gonna say, I think the other Houston gear that we'll see is Texans, not Gamblers.
I think it's it's going to be a mix. They got an opportunity to bring two fan bases together, even though even though the Gamblers wasn't playing in Houston, but they still have an opportunity to bring two fan bases together. Whoever was here in Houston that supported the Gamblers, now you got Roughnecks fans and Gamblers fans, and I've heard from the USFL Gambler side of the players. And they was all saying like, they excited about the uniforms because they're gonna get the Roughnecks uniforms. Yeah. They excited about
definitely
the crowd.
on that part.
Yeah, I know for
the
sure.
product part.
They excited about playing in front of the crowds, and like y'all said earlier, that's just what they thrive on. Players thrive on that. So I'm excited for them. I'm excited for the league in general, man. Just everybody could be able to play in their home market. We could see what Michigan talking about when teams go to Michigan. We could see what Birmingham talking about if they could beat St. Louis in attendance, like stuff like that. Like it's a lot to think about, but it's definitely exciting, man, for sure. I'm excited.
I've had interactions with Birmingham fans, and the consensus is that they still don't trust the league because they also, like San Antonio, have been a part of every single alternative league that we have been a part of, and have also failed at those leagues as we have. So the World League of Football, the USFL of the 80s, the NFL Europe when it was still here, the CFL when they tried to come down here, all those leagues, Birmingham and San Antonio both had teams. So we're very similar in that regard. So I'm hoping that, this is the Birmingham's third season now having a team. This is San Antonio's second season, that the communities from each of those cities, our city and their city, but finally buy in and say, okay, no, this is for real. This is legit. I know there's still going to be some doubt. There always is, but I hope that, hey, it's like they said we weren't going anywhere. We're still here. So you wanted pro football, come get you some.
Yeah.
Come get you some.
I think we're gonna be. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna agree with. I'm sorry. It's because I'm remote, so I apologize. I'm gonna agree with Jorge that this is the opportunity that San Antonio and Memphis and some of these markets that are kind of on the fence about this whole deal. This is their opportunity for everyone to step up and buy in, because this is going to be an incredible product. Okay. We already know that we're getting, the best of the best out of these 16 teams. They've all been condensed down to 8 teams, and we're going to have the absolute best players out there on the field. We know that the ticket prices are reasonably priced. We know that we're going to get a good value for what we're buying, and that this is an incredible time for everybody. So we've said it before, but now's the opportunity, right? Get on board, show your support for your team and for your city. Buy your tickets, reach out to some of our ticket reps. Heck, reach out to some of their ticket reps and see what they can do. But the Birmingham fans, I know, you guys had the issue with Birmingham Iron. We had, of course, the issue with the Talons, the Commanders. But don't let that hold you back. You're missing out on a golden opportunity. And this is going to be our year. This is going to be the year where we're going to win the championship. And you don't want to be that fan that misses out on all of that and then jumps in next year. And then we're all like, where were you at? Right? Get in now. Buy your tickets.
But also,
I'm
don't
done.
be those people where it's like, so we get new fans and like, hey, we're you since day one. I've been here since day. Like, don't be that guy. We want to make sure that we welcome more people as they come in because this thing's gonna grow. I mean, yes, it is. There is gonna be definitely a sense of pride for those who invested in since day one, and they see that if it becomes a successful product, it's like, hey, yeah, I was an early adopter. That kind of thing. I was in it when it was XFL San Antonio. But we also don't want to alienate potential new fans. Yes, Captain. It's a cowboy not catching a ball. See? You fumbled it right there.
Yep. So to jump in real quick, I'm sorry. To build off of what Jorge said, this is an opportunity to welcome in new fans. This is not just an opportunity for us to welcome new fans to our fan base, but to welcome new fans to the league in general, right? This is a great opportunity to start building those healthy rivalries. Kind of like, the deal that we're having with St. Louis, or that we're kind of trying to get going with Memphis, being that, they're kind of the kings of the USFL, right? Let's invite some of those new fans in, start picking up some momentum, start supporting the league as a whole.
Birmingham.
I'm sorry, Birmingham. My bad.
You good.
But let's start reaching out and connecting with those fans, start building the fan base, encouraging them to, help support their fan base also. Let's build this thing and make it happen, man. And then we can have fun with a little bit of the trash talk and stuff like that, right? But keep it respectful too, though, because we don't want to alienate people just because they happen to live in a certain city in South Oklahoma or anything like that.
That's why I attack the team in the city of Arlington. I don't attack the fans. The fans, whatever. But the team,
I know. I'm just messing with you, man. But
Thomas, yes, the plan as of right now, obviously logistics need to be worked out, but there is the mutual general understanding that there will be a group of San Antonio fans traveling to Arlington for that game. If we play in Houston, which I'm pretty sure that we likely will, that will also be a game that we travel to. And I know that there will be more like other fans going to DC and St. Louis and all those other places that we'll be traveling to for sure. The other USFL market that we may be going to, I have no idea. Just kind of depends where that is. But I know at least for Arlington, I can pretty comfortably say that there is likely going to be a large contingent of fans making the trip up.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, Jackie, you want to say something?
I was trying to fix my mic, but can you hear me fine? But yeah,
it sounds muffled a little bit, but
you're muffled. No, I'm just kidding. So I wanted to talk about so the teams that we did lose. Do you think that they're not lost for now, but it's just we're going to end up having them back again, future wise? If this continues to be successful, that we're going to branch out back to those teams.
That was the key that you said. Continue to be successful. You got to be successsul.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just the point. I mean, I think they all on hold. Yep. None of their social medias have been deactivated. Actually, some of the teams that got kicked out of the merger, they was tweeting the day that the day that everything was going down, and then they even thanked the fans and stuff. So I think they still can be active, and they might come back around. I know people want Sea Dragons.
Yeah,
I know New Orleans Breakers fans was upset, here and there, but
I think there's
successful. We should be good.
There's two teams that I think personally won't be coming back at all in an expansion.
Oh yeah, and Vegas, Orlando.
Orlando, I could still see making a comeback.
Really?
Even Orlando, whether it's Orlando or in Tampa, but I still see there being a Central Florida market.
If it's Tampa, then it'll be probably the USFL.
Yeah, so I see one of those two markets being in, but obviously the Houston Gamblers, they're gone. They ain't coming back. If there are going to be gamblers, they would be in Vegas, but I don't think there's going to be a team in Vegas to begin with. just because there's not a place to play unless they can work out a deal with to play where the Raiders play, but that's not going to happen. Or they play in Henderson or somewhere else that's not in that's technically Las Vegas, but really not. But
I mean, we'll probably end up seeing them in like Reno or something like that.
I could, maybe Reno.
Yes, thank you.
But in Vegas, I don't see it happening. Seattle, I would love to have Seattle back in the league, but I think with the way that the merger went down and they were excluded, it alienated a ton of the fan base. That if the league were to go back to Seattle, there's going to be they're going to have to rebuild a bridge that they just burned down, because a lot of fans are going to be skeptical because they've been burned by XFL multiple times. Granted, you can't do much about COVID like that. I mean, everyone got burned with that, but I mean,
if we're saying that it's going to be successful, then it should be easy to hop on saying that, okay, we're successful. Now we're adding more teams.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but it's a matter of getting people who have already been burned in the past to say, okay, I'm going to give you another chance. It's like going back to your ex-girlfriend who you've cheated on 3 times already. Like, it's going to take it's not impossible, but it's going to take a lot of work.
And it's those markets
analogy.
Those markets need to support the new league as well. Like they can't be like, well, I'm pissed off because my team didn't make it, so screw the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like they still have to watch.
People are wild. They get upset.
The league's not going to move into a market where there's no market to be made.
But you got to think about it like in the grand scheme of things, right? If we so happen to lose a team, like we real intimate and we go to the games all the time, like we feel like we part of the team. So you got to just imagine like how those fans feel if their team was taken away from them.
Yeah,
but
we've all felt it. I mean,
I know. But I mean, like, but in my opinion, I would be like, it's football, so I'm still going to watch it. I don't care if we didn't have a team. I would love to keep the team if we keeping it, but I'm saying like, as a football fan, I'm still going to watch it because I've been following Spring League since the AAF actually.
Right, but look at the super fans like the Seattle. What were they?
The Sea Dragons.
But the
Trouble and Mischief.
Yeah, Trouble and Mischief.
Mr. Mayor.
Right.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor. Like those are people that connected with that team on that intimate level, and that's kind of part of their identity, if you will, right?
But then you got somebody like Marquez, and he's talking about he's going to be a Brahmas fan because the Sea Dragon's not here. You got fans like those that's going to adopt a new team because their team is gone.
Mm-hmm. Well,
exactly.
Right. And so what I'm saying is I'm reaching out to the fans that feel completely abandoned by the league, the people that were connected to something like Deuce over in Orlando, or Jersey in Vegas, the folks like that. Don't give up on the league just because your team isn't here right now. Find a team to back, or just watch it because it's going to be a good product. Keep supporting right through your viewership, and that puts dollars in the new league's pocket, and then you can potentially get your team back. Right? If we help make the league successful now, like all of you guys were saying, that gives opportunity for growth. So the teams like Seattle can come back. The teams like Orlando could potentially come back or rebrand and come back and be more connected with the city. Vegas could move to Reno, or who knows? Maybe they move the Gamblers to Atlantic City. I mean, there's a ton of potential there. There's a ton of opportunity, but it all starts with that first key, which is making the league successful this year. So people have to buy in. They have to watch it. They have to get tickets when they can, and they have to put the money in the pockets so that way there's more money for growth later.
Agreed.
Yeah, and as far as to answer Thomas's question here about a schedule being released, they said it's slated for mid-month. No exact date, but sometime in January we will be getting a schedule. At which
Rule
point,
book as well.
Single game tickets will go on sale shortly thereafter. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, the schedule's gonna be released and tickets go on sale. No, right now you can only buy season tickets, but single game tickets will likely go on sale. I'm going to guess if the schedule's gonna be in mid-January, probably early February is when you can start to buy single game tickets. That's just my guess, based off of timing and just logistics and stuff like that. Now, as far as could the LA Wildcats make a return, I don't think so, only because it's already been shown that LA can barely handle 2 NFL teams because the Chargers are the away team in every one of their home games.
San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, San Diego, absolutely.
San Diego, yeah.
San Diego and Oakland could both have a team. But LA, I don't think so because they've already shown, at least at the professional NFL level, they can't sustain 2 teams. So I seriously doubt that having a spring football league, which would bring in substantially less revenue than an NFL team does, ticket prices are going to be a lot more affordable, but like it's not going to be sustainable long term also because of the cost of living and like the cost of just everything out there. California is an expensive place to do business. So let's be real, which is why I don't think that there's going to be a California expansion anytime soon. Now with the league now starting March 30th going into April, I do think that could lead to, if we're going to go west, instead of putting a team in Denver, a Salt Lake team. I know they had a bad track record of showing up in the AAF days, but they played at the University of Utah in the middle of winter. Having lived there, it sucks to be out there because you're breathing in dirty smog inversion air in Salt Lake. And it's cold. It's the coldest months of the year, January, February. But in April, it actually gets really nice over there. And so, yes, there might be the occasional snowstorm, but it's far and few between compared to what you would get in February. So I could see Salt Lake potentially being a westward expansion, Salt Lake and Seattle being the 2 teams, maybe Portland being the 2 teams. And the thing is, what Salt Lake has going for it over a city like Portland is that Salt Lake is a hub for Delta. So there's a lot of easy ways to get to Salt Lake City from Dallas-Fort Worth because there's a lot of direct flights. And I know that because I did those flights to come to San Antonio. I had to come through Dallas every single time. So I think there's a lot of opportunity if we're looking at westward expansion for Salt Lake, if we're starting and keeping the April start time for Salt Lake and Seattle to be the first westward expansion teams before we even touch California as a league.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot of expansion opportunities on that side, but I don't know. I think they'll probably stay with the stuff that they already kind of like build a foundation on first. Like it wouldn't be that hard to move LA to San Diego, but talking about moving a team to like Portland or Salt Lake and Arizona and all that, like, it's just in the same state, you're just going up. But I think I'm not good with the taxes and stuff like that, but I know probably California probably got some bad taxes and stuff. And what's that workers stuff, workship, whatever y'all call it? What they call it?
Workers comp.
Yeah, that all that stuff over there. So I'm sure it's probably bad with the pay and all that. So I know Texas is tax. The taxes is good. So
it's a more
Texas is a business.
Place.
Yeah, Texas is a business-friendly state. That's one of the reasons why Arlington is the hub for what was the XFL and what is now the UFL. The tax laws are very advantageous to businesses, as most of you self-employed people know. And as far as expansion, though, Portland would be an incredible idea. If it were me, if I were the one running the league, I would be wanting to reach back out to those markets that did well before this expansion, though, right?
Seattle.
Maybe start thinking about using some of those USFL teams that had good followings, just didn't have a home base, like Pittsburgh, for example. Right, Pittsburgh and New Orleans they did pretty good as far as fan numbers. And, you know, I would think about trying to, you know, place two of
Canton
those
already had a
back.
home, so I would say put a team up in Canton.
You could definitely do that. You could rebrand the Roughneck or the Gamblers and put them in Canton and call them whatever. I don't know.
I would
or move to Pittsburgh, one of the Pittsburgh or New Jersey teams over there.
I wouldn't even bring back the Gamblers. Like, it just, I think that ship has sailed over with the Memphis show. They got onto the Memphis Showboats boat.
Pittsburgh over there. That would be the easiest answer.
Yeah, I think so. Pittsburgh,
New Jersey.
Yeah, or New Jersey, yeah.
Which one's the team with the cool stars, like the old school, like retro stars?
Philly Stars.
Yes, them. They
the Philadelphia Stars.
Boo them too. Either one. But I mean, I know we a little out of reach right now for expansion. I just got to make this one good, man.
We're talking at least a few years down the line, but we got to, you know, everyone's got to support this iteration first before we can even talk about expansion.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Very true.
So what do y'all think about the San Antonio Bromnecks?
All the Roughnecks that we acquired.
Man, we got 18 Roughnecks players, man.
18. I mean, but still.
But
how do y'all feel about that? Though? Being as though they grabbed all those players. I mean, I kind of knew that they was going to do that, but how do y'all feel about that?
Like we said earlier, I mean, that was kind of, you know, Wade's picking his team, and he was picking guys that he knows. So
I don't blame him. Yeah, I don't blame him for doing that.
But let's not forget about how many Brahmas he kept.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like he just abandoned the whole team.
But he had to initially because you only could protect 42 players from the original roster. So he had to. He can't get rid of everybody. You know, he kept those 42, and then the dispersal was for those 20 players from any team that didn't make the merger.
Yeah.
Right. And so he picked up.
I'm just surprised he picked 18. Well, I'm not kind of surprised, but I'm just like, dang, he picked 18 guys from. It was other guys out there, but I mean,
it would have been 19 if he could have gotten Borgie, I bet.
Yeah,
so
I believe so too.
You know,
I hope we trade for that little bowling ball, man.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
So I get it. I like the idea. I like Wade playing to his strengths. He knows those characters already. He doesn't really know the Brahmas players nearly as well. And so I think it's a smart move on him as a coach. I don't like the Brahma Necks name, and I don't like the San Antonio Roughnecks name. We are distinctly the San Antonio Brahmas, and they will come on board with our culture, and they will be uniquely us, just like we are.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's true. I just thought it was like it was crazy.
It was wild. It was wild.
It was definitely wild. But
it was wild, but it was a smart move on his part.
But I mean, did y'all see I know I shared it earlier, but the unprotected players that we left, there was a lot of guys that signed the letter of intent.
Yeah.
And they didn't even make it to the 42.
Well, that's why, like, the letters of intent, like, I think people put a lot of weight into them, but letters of intent are just that. They are just in the intent to play. But just like in college, how many players, you know, renege on a letter of intent, and they're like, actually, I'm gonna go to this other school instead, even though I did a letter of intent with you guys. Sorry, coach. I never really cared too much for the letter of intent. You know, I think that was more so of in case this merger doesn't happen or it doesn't get approved, then we got something to fall back on. But now that it has, those letters of intent are you know, moot points I think at this point.
Yeah.
So the one thing I do feel bad about is for the people that tried out in the combines, such as our friend Caleb.
Yeah.
They're still kind of in limbo. Nobody really knows what's going to happen with them or if they even have a chance, because the talent pool all got kind of crushed into these 8 teams, right? I know for a fact that there were some incredible players at those combines, and I have to wonder what the future looks like for them. What is going to be their next steps? So that being the case, let me ask you guys, if you were a player that went through the combine, what would you be thinking? What would your next steps be? What would be the thoughts in your mind about that?
Mine would be keep working, keep putting film, keep putting film out, keep getting your videos out, highlights out, and then if I know it's probably people won't watch this, but if you are like one of those guys that he's talking about, I know it's a lot of guys that's out there that's looking for folks to play in like Arena League, the IFL and stuff like that. I think the alternative league. So it's still opportunities out there. You just gotta work it, man. That's it. Just work it.
Yeah,
there's like 10 different Arena leagues that if because of this merger, with the UFL doesn't quite work out right now. I mean, you got the IFL, the AFL, the NAL, all that stuff. Like DJ said, go out there and get something on tape of real game footage. So
yeah, keep on putting in the work. And the thing is that you got to remember injuries happen a lot, and the mentality, at least as it was in the XFL, was next man up, next man up. And I
agree.
I think it's going to be a lot of the same. It's like, this is your shot to go. If you really, how badly do you want to go to the next level and make it to the NFL? So you got to be ready. Next man up. So you may get a phone call if you've been at a combine from a St. Louis Battlehawks or from a Birmingham Stallions or from us or from the Gambling Roughnecks. Like, you may get a call from one their staff saying, "Hey, we got your stuff from the XFL combines. Are you still interested?" And it may be week 3, 4, 5. And if you're not ready, then they're going to call the next guy on the list.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be a lot of the same. Next man up.
Can we touch on the Hines Ward leaving? How you guys feel about that?
After his speech, I'm not a fan. I'm mad at him right now.
Hey, it was a lot of broken hearts, man. After that,
Glitter's a bitch. Glitter's a bitch.
The sorry ass excuse that we got. Look, I felt
she dropping bombs on here.
Hey, what's he gonna do? Come back and tell me something? Whatever. He's gone. We're all about the Wade Brigade now. Come on. But no, like, I feel like I felt like we kind of saw, like, I get, like, it sucks because we saw these other coaches kind of go above and beyond for their fans too. They were showing up for things, and it almost, I mean, like, we saw just as fans how hard it was in pulling teeth just to get him to show up to something. He couldn't even drive 4 hours because of Glitter just to come promote a new whatever. But I feel like we saw the writing on the wall a long time ago, and this just wasn't his jam, I guess. I think he's just more of a player in his head. Like, he just has a big ego, and he needs something bigger than what this is. But that's just me. That's my cup of tea.
Go ahead, Jay.
So, in regards to him being a fan favorite, everybody loved Hines, right? But I mean, let's be realistic about it. As much as you loved him and everything, when he would show up to events, it wasn't so much Hines Ward, the coach of the San Antonio Brahmas, as it was Hines Ward, the Hall of Fame receiver. Right. Okay. If you want to talk about a coach that really connects with the fan base, as much as this hurts me to say it, Anthony Becht is one of the best when it comes to connecting with the fans.
Reggie Barlow.
It wouldn't even hurt you to say, Reggie Barlow.
Reggie Barlow's pretty good too.
That was a fact.
But those guys are all about it. They're making sure that they're going to events and doing things and going out on their own time. They're not even getting paid for this.
I mean, there was the video last year at the end of the season where Becht was just hanging out at a bar, like watching the game, seeing whether
talking to
St. Louis was going to make the playoffs or not.
So that was not something that Ward was going to do. Now, for whatever reason, things did not work out. He decided, and the league decided, to part ways. That's cool, right? I feel bad for the fans that were on board because of Hines Ward, right? But now we're getting a real football coach in. and we're going to see a much improved team, much better execution. I think everything, yeah, exactly what Bobby said right there, right? Wade is not going to connect with the fans. He's not going to waste time talking to us, and that's okay. Because he's out there. He is out there to coach.
He's winning games.
Football games.
I'm
good with that.
There you go.
That's all that matters.
But he can. That's where AJ and the OC and DCs can kind of take up that space too. They can go out there and connect with the fans.
Even then, I feel like the players is really what the connection is. It's cool that Wade acknowledges it, but I feel like the player level is where that fan interaction is you can't beat it.
But I think I gotta disagree with you guys, because with the way San Antonio is so community based, if you like, and I look at Popovich as let's take a look at the Spurs as an example. The Spurs organization as a whole. You look at Greg Popovich. He is always out in the community here in San Antonio because he knows that is what it takes to be respected by San Antonio. Can any of you tell me the name of the coach of San Antonio FC?
I don't even watch
soccer. Yeah.
So I know it because I follow the team. But the thing is that he's not as much out in the community, so people don't really know who he is. And the team has gotten bigger or more popular because they won a championship, sure. But the majority of the city doesn't know most of the players or the team unless you really follow it. And I don't want that to be the case with the Brahmas. And that's going to be something that, even though he's not going to want to connect with fans, like, I'm sorry, my guy, but if you want to have success in San Antonio as a market and have success in grow the league and grow the sport here in the city, it starts from the top down. Like, everyone from Wade Phillips all the way down to the athletic trainers and, the special teams coach, like everybody, like from the top down, everyone's got to get on board and get out into the community. It can't be just let my coordinators out there, let them handle it. I got stuff I got to do. That's not going to be good enough. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you really want this to be successful, you have to go out into the community and make yourself known, put your presence out there. And like, this is a perfect opportunity to buy into the Brahmas, because all he's got to do is say, yeah, I was the Dallas Cowboys coach. How many people are going to want to come out simply because he was the Dallas Cowboys coach? Like, they're not going to remember that he was the Houston Roughnecks coach, but they sure as hell are going to remember, oh, yeah, the son of Bum was the Dallas Cowboys coach.
Oh, we remember he was a Cowboys coach.
Right. Well, but what I'm saying is, it's going to be something that you can use that as a selling point to get people to come out. Like, Hines Ward did that with success. Granted, it was done in a way where it was like, yes, I'm Hines Ward, the Hall of Fame receiver, but like, he can come out and say, like, yes, I am Wade Phillips, former coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Now I'm here in your city, and I need you guys to come out and help me grow this monster into something bigger than all of us.
I'm going to counterpoint you. I'm going to counterpoint you, Jorge. Who here remembers the name of the San Antonio Commanders coach?
I didn't watch it. I'm out.
Was it Mike something?
That's the thing. He wasn't out in the community. But those didn't last long enough.
The Commanders had a 5-3 record. Okay, they were in the community much more than what the Brahmas were, except for James Carr. Right, props to James. But we had better attendance at the Commanders games than what we did with Hines Ward as our coach. With the XFL. Now, part of that is you get burnt by the AAF. Yeah, I mean, I've got to take that into the equation. But you've got this superstar who connects with the fans, and people are showing up just to get his autograph and then going home. They weren't really sticking around for the games, right? We had less attendance with that superstar than what we did with the coach who's actually getting us wins and stuff like that. So I'm going to say that I think Wade Phillips, he can go to 1 or 2 events and people will be like, okay, fine, whatever. You're bringing us, an 8-win season, a 9-win season. All right, you go and do your thing, whatever. Send your OCs and your DCs and let them come talk to us. Just keep getting us wins. And that's going to put butts in seats.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say because of this past season, just seeing how unfortunately fickle our fans are, they love him as a player, but as a coach, they could care less. Mm-hmm. I feel like Wade, he doesn't have to be in the community. If he wins us games, that's enough for San Antonio to be happy and to just show up. They're winning, heck yeah, I'm going to be there.
I think for short-term success, that is correct. But if you want long-term success with this league, with this team, Jorge's right. You gotta have roots in the city, and you can't have the fickle fans that are gonna show up when you're winning, but don't show up when you're losing. My question is, how does a coach, how do they get into the community and do this stuff when they're 5 miles north for the entire week? So that has to be, a focal point of the league of getting these coaches, getting these teams into the communities on Wednesdays, Thursdays, or whatever before the games.
No, and we can even use the NFL as an example here because you can compare this to the sad and pathetic Browns and the Lions. Now both teams are in the playoffs, but historically, why do people say I'm taking the Browns to the Super Bowl when they're about to go take a crap? Like they're the butt of everybody's jokes, but people still show up. People are still loyal. But they're out in the community. They invested in the long-term success. Yeah, short-term, maybe, okay, send your OCs, whatever. But long-term, it's got to be from the top down.
I think next season it can be from top down, but the first season, I just want to see some wins.
That's all we want to see.
The wins are a good kind of, get everybody to notice, but you need to have the sustained support.
Yeah. And that's
that's a two-headed situation, right? First and foremost, the league needs to make sure that they're making these people available to go out and be in their communities. Maybe bring them in on a Thursday so the home team can go check, visit around in their city and stuff. But it's also more than just the coaches. Okay, like Bobby is saying right there, right? It includes the players going out and maybe going to an elementary school or going to a food bank and doing some work there, stuff like that. It doesn't all have to be on Wade Phillips. It can be more than just Phillips, but part of that success needs to be getting those wins. So yeah, get out in the community, start connecting with people, but get those wins and get those fans in the seats.
Yeah. What you think James Carr doing?
The rest will take care of itself.
That's what I'm saying, though.
What you think James Carr doing? He out there working, man.
It doesn't just have to be the coaches. It definitely, there's a lot of need for the players to get involved, but it starts from the top.
Yes.
It starts from the top and it goes all the way down. So that's why I'm saying it should start with Wade Phillips and the leaders of the organization and work its way down, and everybody, all hands on deck, because even with this merger, there's still a lot of doubt. There's still a lot of a lot of uncertainty of, is it going to be around next year? How are we going to do it? And you got to squash that. Like you said, get butts in seats. And how do you get butts in seats? Feel like you have a connection to the team and the players. And we've talked about this extensively last year. What was one of the things that really drew a lot of people to the XFL is that you had access to players and coaches in ways that, you would have gotten tackled and arrested in the NFL if you even got that close. So that's one of the things that I think really can help set this league apart, besides being affordable, is that you'll have that, what feels like VIP access, but really for the UFL, it's just another day.
Right.
I agree.
Well, I feel like so. My take on it is, I'm like on the fence, man. I get what y'all saying about him being a player's coach, but it's tough, you know. Like I agree with a lot of what y'all saying. Like when he get the events, you know, they know him. Like everybody in Steelers gear, they bringing up jerseys for him to sign, and send this to my I'm sign this and send it to my wife or my friend from such and such. Like it's always Hines Ward, the player. So it was, and I don't want to like bash him because you know, I did feel like, you know, part of it, like a lot of times when he was talking, it was more so focused on like, you know, remember he was saying like, I want to go back and focus on getting players ready. Like when he was at the event that we was at, he was like, I want to get players selected and focus on, you know, trying to put a game plan together. And then also speaking to some of the players at the luncheon that I went to, they all was saying like they love Hines Ward and they like how, you know, the players love him. They like how, you know, he's a player's coach and, you know, he's been there, done that. So he can kind of like see on the same level as a player. But, you know, on the flip side, you know, you're taking Wade Phillips, man, you know, experience, NFL experience on the defensive side, head coaching side. I mean, he has flaws, but for a league like this with players getting second opportunities and, you know, that fight that they have in them, that chip on their shoulder, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson been speaking about, you know, it's a perfect opportunity for him. And like I said, I seen him last year or last season, and he looked pretty good in Houston, you know, as well as 2020. So, I mean, yeah. I'm good with it. But it's sad to see him go, Hines Ward. Sad to see him go.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I loved him. Yeah. He was always good to me.
I mean, he knew me like personally.
Yeah, same.
As many times as I've seen him probably like 5-6 times. And
I'll never forget.
We had a conversation, like a real conversation. So
yeah, I mean, I will never forget. He actually took the time to FaceTime my mama, who was a big fan, and made her almost cry because she was like, "I'm talking to Hines Ward," you know. Mm-hmm. So he was always good to me. So I do miss him. I wish him and his family nothing but the best. I had that chance to really get to be friends with his wife and see my son and his daughter run around on the field at the Alamo Dome. Like, so it goes beyond football at that point. And I wish him nothing but the best and nothing but happiness over in Houston. I hope the glitter situation got cleaned up. So now I think as we're getting close to the end of the show, you know, now that we know who's on the team, at least for this phase one of the roster, who do you think has the biggest shoes to either fill or the biggest chip on their shoulder that they got to show?
Cone. That's it. If you starting, Cone. Gotta be. Yeah. There's no other answer. I mean, defense, we like I was talking to my cousin before. I said our defense was good. We had like a top 5 defense, top 3 defense last year. Our defense wasn't the problem. It was putting points on the board.
Yeah.
So, you know, and Cone, this is a good piece because we always be killing Cone. Cone actually had a good game against Orlando and a good game against DC, threw for over 300 yards, but we just was running the ball in the end zone, touchdowns. But he played pretty good, you know, no turnovers. So let's keep that. If we can keep that momentum going into the next season, if he's starting, which I don't know. I mean, I think we're gonna have a good competition. Matthew McKay looks nice. I don't know if Ben Kirk gonna be back. Yeah. So, I mean, but Cone is the chip. That's the chip right there.
You know,
if anybody's gonna,
go ahead. Go
ahead, Jorge.
I was gonna say I gotta go with with our new kicker.
Ooh.
The thing is with the loss of Parker Romo, you know, Mr. Special Teams himself. I mean, the best kicker in the league, who criminally was left out of the NFL, in my opinion.
He just naturally got all them jerseys.
You know, I think he was so reliable. He was such a force. He was such a fan favorite that whoever the next kicker is for the Brahmas has gigantic shoes to fill, because if he misses the first extra point, the first field goal, it's like we don't have. He's not a Parker Romo.
Man. You can't do that. Man.
No, I can't. No, and I won't. But you know how the fans are. It's like Oh, we had the kicker, but now we don't.
You know, a lot of fans turned on him at the last game too. So keep that in mind too. A lot of them was ready. A lot of them was happy that he was gone because he missed that kick to go to playoffs.
Ridiculous, man.
So just keep that in mind.
Yeah,
but I don't think people focus on the kicker more. So I think they focused on who we got at quarterback. If you look at the comments, everybody want to know who we got at quarterback.
Yeah, they would pick up anybody.
Special teams is important.
So special teams is important when it matters, right? Otherwise, if it's a cat just kicking the extra points or whatever, which obviously we're not doing, and maybe, I mean, we don't know what the new rules are going to be. So we may have extra points back. We don't know. But field goals matter when it wins a game, or it gets you the lead, or it keeps the lead, things like that. But for the most part, everybody's going to be relying on that quarterback to be that anchor, to carry that team, to make things happen. So to go back to what DJ had said, I really think it's going to be Cone that's going to be coming in with that humongous, 4x8 freaking plank of a chip on his shoulder. And he's going to be looking to prove all the fans that were saying, oh, Cone's no good, you got to get rid of him, blah, blah, blah. Again, if we have that offensive line, Cone's going to be lighting it up, man. And he's going to be just vicious about it every time that he does it, man. Because I mean, you got to think about it from his point of view. He knows what he's capable of. And the fans are the ones that are knocking him. And he knows that he can do it. If he had the support that he needed, around him, that whole offensive line, he would have been able to show people that he was a quarterback we could count on. So this season, I really believe Wade focuses on that. We're going to see a different Cone. We're going to see the Cone that we saw in Orlando and the Cone that we saw in DC, but we're going to see him on a consistent basis. If he can beat out Ben Kurt and who'd you say, McVay, the third candidate,
McKay.
right? McKay. Right? There's going to be, a serious fight there at the quarterback position. And I'm telling you, Cone is going to be bringing everything he's got to make sure that he wins it, just so he can show everybody, hey, I told you guys, don't count me out, and here's why.
I mean, we still got a draft coming on the 15th and 16th, so that's supposed to be like the super draft. So the draft between the leftover players from XFL, leftover players from the USFL. If I would love to have DeAndre Johnson from the Generals. I think he played for the Generals in the USFL. I would love to have him. He's pretty nice. But yes, I guess we got to wait to see. Maybe they add another quarterback or two just to compete in camp, and then we'll go from there. But, yeah.
Well.
Okay.
I know, Jay, you need to talk about stuff coming up. No? Yeah?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, do you want to take a point on this one?
No, this is your
speaking
jam.
This is your baby.
Competition. Okay, well, me and this guy up here, but yeah. You want me to go?
Go.
Okay. So this weekend in Houston, Texas, we're going to be having the Sideline Domestic Violence event with the UFan Nation. And all of us here at Horns Forward are definitely going to be there, at least in spirit, hopefully all physical. But January 12th, we're going to be having a celebrity bowl-a-thon, and you can find that information on the Horns Forward page here, or on Texans Talking Football, or the UFan Nation website, or Facebook page. And then on the January 13th, we're going to be having our silent auction and get together at R&R Sports Bar there in Houston. And of course, a lot of the super fans, a lot of podcasts. There's going to be a lot of people there at this event to help raise awareness or help raise funds for this event. Now, again, the proceeds of this event are going to be going to the Houston Area Women's Center to help their mission in trying to end domestic violence in their community, right? Domestic violence is a very big thing. It's a very personal thing. It affects some of us very directly, right? And it doesn't discriminate. It affects everybody. So we want to do our part as a fan base to make sure that we're putting resources into this to show these people that they don't stand alone, right? That football fans are behind them, that shopkeepers are behind them, that everybody's behind them, supporting them to try and put an end to this horrible situation. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can support. If you go to that flyer, you can donate financially. If you can't make it out to this event, there's a QR code that you can scan that you can give money to this event that way. If you are in person, you can do the celebrity bowling with us, either bowl with a celebrity, bowl against a celebrity. On the Saturday night event, again, there's going to be a silent auction there. There's going to be, from what I've seen, there's a bunch of stuff like some Oakley sunglasses, a couple of different gift baskets, some Starbucks cups, like a bunch of gift cards, right? There is a ton of things that you can buy there. So dig deep, make sure that you reach out. Again, scan that QR code on the flyer if you can't make it. Otherwise, be there in Houston. And in fact, I think on that flyer even, there is a QR code for a hotel that's giving discounts for people to come into town for this event, right? So make sure that you're reaching out. I believe there's going to be a ton of different people. St. Louis, I believe, is going to be there. Houston, of course, is going to be there. We're going to be there. I believe fans from Arlington are going to be there. I've even heard that some fans from some of the teams that have kind of been dissipated are even going to be coming in. So make sure that you're there. Make sure that you're supporting this cause. Make sure that you're supporting this league.
I just popped it on our Facebook page so they can find the flyer there.
Can you give us some times for Friday and Saturday?
I would love to. I believe the event at R&R Sports Bar starts at 3 p.m. and goes to like 8 or 9. I'd have to go back and check the flyer just to make sure. And then I believe the celebrity bowling starts at, I want to say 7 to 10. I'd have to go back and check those numbers. And what I'll do is I'll get that information. I'll post it on the chat for this broadcast to make sure. There you go. Brahma Babe knows. And then what are the hours for the what are the hours for the bowling event, Brahma Babe? Because the fans are going to want to know that also.
If not, go check out
the
flyer.
Yeah, the flyer should have all the information. Again, where the locations are, what the times are, all that good stuff. But make sure you're a part of that, right? And I've heard for the right price, you can challenge one of these two gentlemen above me to a bowling match, and you need to watch out for them. I've heard they're ringers. They can bowl over 100.
They got them twinkle toes like the Flintstone. The twinkle toes.
Just be careful.
I can't go. Full disclosure, I cannot be at the bowling event because I will be on father duties, but I may be there on Saturday.
Fair enough.
We'll see. But yeah, no, I think it's a good first show of the year, y'all. It's good to be back. We are less than 90 days away from the start of the UFL. So remember that. Yeah. I don't know when our home opener is. As soon as it is, it'll be posted all over the place. We'll get it all out there. But let's be there. Let's be loud. Let's get some revenge. Let's see red. Let's be united. Let's
pack the dome, baby.
Get the horns forward. Let's do all that shit and have tacos and get drunk doing it.
I will say this too. We've changed our obviously dates, our Mondays and our time. It's not going to be every Monday during off season. Only when there's like really pertinent news. That way we could still have our time. So we'll always just check the Facebook page, the fan page. We will update you when we do have shows. So that can't guarantee next Monday, but who knows? If the schedule comes out, then we're going to talk about it. So if we got stuff to talk about, we'll be there. As
it gets closer to the season, obviously we'll have more consistent weekly shows as we did during the last season. So just, it's coming soon. It'll be here before you know it. But yeah, no, thank you guys for joining tonight's show. And wow, okay, bowling is from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So y'all better make sure you have your Zoa energy drinks, the official drink of XFL fans everywhere, UFL fans everywhere. So get your Zoa and go bowl. This is not sponsored by Zoa.
You could add some of that delicious Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Terra Lingua Tequila, whatever.
Tequila.
Yeah,
whatever.
All that stuff. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, I guess we'll end it like we always do, saying horns forward, and also Dez did not catch it.
Let's go. Oh gosh.